learn to say one thing as we ride today. We're going to ride the route that Sarah took the day she died, the day she was killed by a truck on River Road. And as we go down River Road, we're going to pass her crash site. As we go past her crash sites, if you have a bell, please ring it. Let's make some noise. Let's make some noise for change. This is really about just sharing the road. We will get started with John Burke, the president of Trek Bicycles. I think it's fair to say that this event would not have happened without Trek, who has given their marketing power to this event, and who from the very first moment when John heard about Sarah said, let us help in any way that we can this family get the word out about what happened and help them speak about street safety.
In 1997, there was a congressman here, and his name was Jim Oberstar, and he was from Minnesota. And Oberstar lost his wife, and for therapy, he got into cycling. And the more he rode, he came to the conclusion that cycling really wasn't all that safe. And because he was on the transportation department, he decided he was going to do something about it. And he called a group of people together, and Oberstar led the way. And over the last 25 years, there's been incredible progress around the United States in thousands of bicycle projects, thousands of miles. But there's two problems. One is we need more safe cycling in the United States. If you take a look at places like Denmark and Holland, and you measure trips, going to the store, going to school, going to the ballpark, 25% of trips are taken by bike. In the United States, it's just over 1%. The good news is there's been a huge transportation bill that's been passed. There's over $50 billion available for cycling. That's what can be applied for, and this bill can transform cycling in America.
The U.S. Department of Transportation is committed to making real progress towards ending traffic fatalities, and we call on everyone to join us in this national effort that can only succeed when we work together. The only acceptable number of deaths on our roadways is 0.
This is really about making our streets safe for children, for mothers, for families, so that we can do other things than drive when we use our streets. Amy, thank you for coming today.
Thanks, Dan. Families for Safe Streets is a club nobody should ever have to join. As Dan shared, we have all lost a family member or suffered a serious injury in a traffic crash. It's still hard to say, but for me, it's 9 years since I lost my 12-year-old son, Sammy. He was just trying to get to soccer practice, going from our home to the park across the street. Just trying to get around the neighborhood, taking your children to school, going to soccer practice should not have to be a deadly act. We have paid the highest price for the complacency about the crisis on our roadways, and it's an incomprehensible heartache. I kissed my son goodbye on October 8th, 2013. He said, "I love you, Mommy," and went to school. I never imagined those would be his last words. And it's been 9 long years, and every single day of those 9 years, every single day, 100 people like Sarah, like my son Sammy, have died on our roads, day after day, year after year, and it's only getting worse.
Congressman Raskin called me less than 48 hours after Sarah was killed to express his condolences. Obviously I was incredibly touched by that. And it was a testament to how connected he is with his constituents and how much he cares about these issues. Congressman Raskin. And so actually, as part of this ceremony, I am giving Congressman Raskin, on behalf of all of us, the letter that includes our requests, both of Congress and of the Department of Transportation and Administration. Obviously, the congressional asks are for you, sir. We're asking for $200 million in the Active Transportation Infrastructure Investment Act, this wonky name for a great program that gives communities like those in Bethesda around the country the possibility to go to the Department of Transportation and fill in gaps in their safe transportation, active transportation infrastructures. And so, Congressman, thank you so much for being here. Here is the letter. Thank you.
Dan, thank you. I am very moved and overwhelmed to be with the Langenkamp family, with the boys, with the Debnick family, and I'm very proud to represent the Langenkamps, and I'm proud to represent a lot of people here. Are there other people from Montgomery County? What a beautiful, amazing crowd this is. It looks like it's about 1,000 people, and that's how many bicyclists we lose every year on the roads in America. Something like this number of people we lose in traffic fatalities or riding their bikes. And we lost somebody extraordinary in Sarah Langenkamp. She had spent the last years of her life in Kyiv, in Ukraine, for the State Department, fighting to help them build a strong democracy and protect human rights and to oppose corruption and to fortify their society against the coming aggression, the filthy imperialist attack of Vladimir Putin. And so she gave the final years of her life both to her beautiful family and her friends, but also to the cause of democracy and freedom and human rights on earth. And I think we should give her a round of applause for what she was doing. And part of what we owe Sarah is our commitment to help the people of Ukraine through their just war against the occupation by Vladimir Putin, a war which the people of Ukraine are winning today through their courage and their valor. And we're going to see that through, Sarah Langenkamp. And I want to thank Dan and everybody who's helped this wonderful family because the pain is a blinding, disabling pain when you go through this kind of anguish. But they were able to rally and draw on all the love in their family and their friends and our community in order to make something positive come out of this terrible tragedy. And we have all been renewed in our determination to focus on road safety. I started working on this when I was a state senator in Annapolis, and I was proud to work with all these great bike and pedestrian safety groups. And I introduced the legislation in Maryland to guarantee that motorists have to give 3 feet of right-of-way to the bicyclists on the roads and in the intersections. And we've been making some progress. I'm proud to say that we didn't just have an infrastructure day, an infrastructure week, an infrastructure press conference. We actually have an infrastructure law with $5 billion invested in bike safety and traffic safety and pedestrian safety across the country over the next several years. As Dana said, as our friends at DOT have said, the only acceptable number of fatalities on the road is 0. We don't want any cyclists. We don't want any pedestrians being killed. And this is something we can accomplish. Her death is at least as much an injustice as it is a misfortune, because we can do something to stop bicyclists from dying on the roads and the highways of America. We can do something to stop it. And life is hard enough for people with the natural misfortunes and the heartaches and the accidents. We don't need to compound the natural misfortunes of life with the injustice of not making the roads safe. We're in the 21st century. We know how to do it, and we will do it. And Dan, I will respond to every single request you've given me today. I will work with these groups. Let's go out and let's get to 0 bicyclist fatalities, 0 pedestrian fatalities on the roads and the streets and the highways of America. Thank you very much.
Can't change the past, but we can change the future for others, and I don't think anybody will want to ever experience this again. There's these countries like Ireland who are much smaller than us, and they have 0 deaths, and we're a rich, powerful country, and we're so far in technology, and we're still not able to just get road safety, and it makes no sense.
Sarah was not a victim of a freak accident. Now, a truck driver who was an employee of a company was responsible for her death. But what happened to Sarah is part of a larger crisis in our country. And the statistics bear this out. As Oliver said, if you are in Norway or Ireland, you are 6 times less likely to get killed as a pedestrian or a cyclist on the roads. So our rate of death is 6 times higher than the safest countries in the world. If you're in Canada, you're twice as safe. So we're twice as likely to get killed in the United States as in Canada. If you're comparing us to all the industrialized countries, we're 47th out of 54. On a curve, we'd fail. And there's just no reason for that, as Oliver said. It's infuriating to me as a U.S. diplomat to go around, to be a person that goes around the world bragging about our record, trying to get people to think like us, to know that we are such failures on this issue. It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense, particularly because We know what the problem is, and we have the technology to fix it. We know, for example, that side underride guards on trucks save lives. We know they're not that difficult to put in place. We have known this for 100 years. We've known it certainly since the 60s when Jane Mansfield was horribly killed in a crash with a truck. There's a basic geometric difference between a truck and a car. None of the car's defenses protect it when a truck crashes through the windshield. None of them. And the deaths are horrifying. But it's not just cars, it's people. When a truck turned into Sarah, I have to be honest with you, the people and killed her, it crushed her. It didn't knock her down and hit her head. MIPS didn't do anything to save Sarah. When your body and your being are crushed, those trucks are like loaded guns with no safeties, roaming around on our streets. Woo! That's what they are. And without safety features, they will continue to be so. So we're asking for side underride guards and front underride guards, please. We're asking for something called advanced driver assistance systems, which are sensors and cameras that help these truck drivers know that in their blind spot there could be a person. If that trucker had known that, he would have stopped. If he'd had an automatic emergency braking, which we're asking for, he would have stopped. But he didn't have that. He had none of that. And Sarah's dead as a result. And I don't want to be crass, but like she's dead as a result of that and his bad decision. But if we have systems in place that help people, protect people from bad decisions, then we'll all be better off. He and his company will be too. You really never stop grieving. And like a phantom limb, that grief is always there. And you never stop seeing your loved one next to you in bed at night, out of the corner of your eye, across the street on a bicycle. And then after that moment of hope, you snap back and you feel the loss all over again. And it happens day and night. And so, as you know, this campaign has been part of my grieving process. I thank you for tolerating that. Knowing that Sarah's death, which was such a waste, was not in vain has really helped me. It will not bring her back. But knowing that a stanchion or a curb or a bike lane or a truck sensor happened in no small part because of us will console us. It'll help my sons and it'll help the Debink family a bit. We won't get Sarah back, and we will never recover, but we will know that because of this, other people may live in her name. So thank you for representing so many people around the country who care about safe streets, people who want to walk, run, and ride bikes safely on our streets. Thank you again.